issues. And also for adults that have children, if your babies, because children ask way more now to go to therapy. If they ask to go to therapy, let them go to therapy.
Please let them go.
Because
my children know what it is because they're like, oh, you going to therapy? Okay. See, yeah, girl.
Right.
I'm very transparent.
My son just figured out what I do. He was just like, because he didn't understand. He's always at the practice, but he didn't understand. You know, when somebody asked him to do, he was like, well, my mama loves God. And I was just like, well, you know what? I ain't going to knock that one, though. I ain't going to knock that one. You right.
Is she a pastor?
And my mama tell people about God. He's like, she like Jesus and she tell people about him. So I was like, you know what? I ain't going to.
They need to know.
I'm not going to take that from him. It was like, but also your mom is a counselor, too. Not just your Uber driver, but you know,
they don't care about that.
Yeah, they don't. As long as he gets to where he needs to go and get his McDonald's.
I have the stories. I'm so glad. I didn't even mean to do this. It's just naturally a part of what we do. Because mental, health is a part of me. Mm-hmm. But to bring somebody on that this is what their specialty is, it's really cool to hear from your perspective as opposed to, the people that just need you. So before we dive deeper into your business, how are you feeling today?
I am good. I mean, this is a testament to my journey. I remember my first episode, which where I used to work. And I'm like, what you mean? I got an interview, then I got to do the interview. So I'm good with the one-on-one, but I'm usually the one behind the scenes. So this is just even part of my journey, stretching. And it's like understanding that if I don't talk about it, then how will I get more people to understand why, I feel like I was put here to do and help.
Yeah. And I don't know if you remember, but I remember. I told you that I'm going to have you on a stage. Mm-hmm.
Well,
and this is exciting because I can't wait for it to happen. Y'all heard it too. Mm-hmm. What's one word you'd use to describe yourself right now?
Bold.
Ooh.
That has been the season that I've been challenged to be.
I love that.
I'm not going to say I'm bold. You said to describe it. So that's the season I'm in. I'm working towards that.
Oh, because I'm like, I
ain't there.
I
mean, that's where I'm going. So it's like you got to speak it, right?
You have to.
So bold has been it. I've had, and you said speaking, you said stage. I was like, I'll give that to you because I have been on a couple of stages.
Yes,
recently.
And that's just the beginning because when you go down your list of fans, I'm at the biggest, and then there's everybody else. I mean, okay, your husband and your family, okay, fine. But then after that.
You sure about that? Because I'm pretty sure you but you haven't met the youngest one in the family yet. That will be your challenge. The rest of them probably.
I know, so I'm after her.
Yeah, she would be the one.
I understand there's levels to this. So, let's talk about your childhood. What was life like growing up for you?
When I was still living here in Illinois, it was chaotic in ways. I didn't realize until I got older that I was like, oh, my parents was separated.
You said I didn't realize
because we were always my family's huge, so we were always with my family, always with my grandparents. And then we moved south, which it was hot. It was just hot. That's really what I remember. We couldn't play outside because it was hot. Parents, eventually they kept trying to make the marriage work. Eventually they stayed separated. So a lot of it, we lived with my mom. I mean, my dad was very active. We always seen him. But I switched schools a lot because of that. So for me, it's nothing for change. Like, I'm like, all right, well, I guess this is where we are today. But settling was something I had to work towards because I was so used to a lot of changes. And then just processing through my parents' stuff. Even though they didn't get divorced until we were in our 20s, it was still one of those things where it's like, y'all wasn't together. And y'all did fuss a lot. And why didn't y'all get a divorce? It would have been healthier.
Why did y'all stay
different
this long?
things, right. Played sports a lot. Pretty much grew up with majority males, so I had to learn how to be a little bit more feminine as I got older. And that probably where the smart mouth came in a lot because, when you with a lot of males, like this is too many emotions could get you hurt. So it was just, I had to learn how to balance that out.
You just learned how to communicate.
In a different format.
That's all.
So did that with my childhood. Like I said, a lot of sports. And just, I had friends from everywhere, but later it kind of felt lonely because I never fit in a group.
Right.
And so being that sometimes it's like, what's so different about me? Why can't I fit in a group? I always had a good friend out of every group. So I had the athletes, I had the artistic ones, I had the smart ones, I had the ones that just be like, we ain't doing nothing but bumming. I had a friend out of every group, but I never fully fit into any of the groups. And I think that was harder because I still feel like that now and today. I have friends in a lot of different places.
Yep.
But then understanding that and understanding my energy level, right? Like talking about introvert, like I had to learn that I was an introvert. Even though people were like, you couldn't be an introvert. You're very out. I'm like, I'm outgoing. It's a difference.
B says I'm an extroverted introvert.
Extrovert, introvert.
I said, I'll take it.
No, I'm probably not. I'm definitely an introvert.
You are.
My energy is when I'm by myself.
That's
But
good.
when I have that energy, I utilize it because I'm very outgoing and I'm very competitive. So that's where people get.
That's where they
Get it confused. I'm like, no, I'm just competitive. I was like, but once that is over with, I don't want to see nobody. Like, let me just sit in silence. So, but overall, I would say a good childhood, challenging things, but a good childhood.
I know the answer to this next question, but
You
I'm
answer
curious
it
to see
anyway.
what you'll say. Were you always entrepreneurial, or was that something you grew into? I'm sorry, I didn't mean to laugh. I'm thinking of growing into this.
Yeah, I guess in ways, I always been very independent of doing things on my own, and I like the challenge. Once again, the competition piece. But my dad was an entrepreneur, so I never like envisioned. Like I thought I was like I'm gonna be a doctor, or I was gonna be an engineer. Like that's what I saw.
Wow.
But now looking back, I was like I've always been around it because my dad, he had his own business. I would go with him places, and then I didn't always like everybody telling me what to do. So I kind of wanted to be like, well, I can just tell people what to do. So, yeah.
I can relate. But then, I don't know if you can relate to this. Then being a business owner, I still get people telling me what to do. My doggone clients. Oh, yours is a little different.
Yeah.
You get different kind of clients. I just thought about what kind of clients you have.
But my caseload of high achieving CEO women, y'all do.
That's very shady.
Yeah, you do because that's still in you to do it. But no,
real
not,
shady.
It's not shady.
I was like, oh,
It really is.
she was up with me.
It was very subtly. Like
was
you kind
very-
of gave it up. Like I put it very nice and subtle. I still find people kind of tell me what to do in different aspects. Or just the business features, right? Like, I've been in corporate before I switched to being a therapist, so I've understood that dynamic. But a lot of people everybody wants to be entrepreneurs, but they don't understand the life of an entrepreneur. Like, it's way more levels. Yes, very dusty sometimes.
I was like, it's ghetto.
Yes. And it's one thing if I just would have stayed private practice, just me, versus being a group practice. It's like, I love my team, but it's so many other layers that even when I'm off, because when I had my daughter, guess who was doing billing at the hospital? Like, wait, I guess they want to get paid. Let me just, can you pass my phone?
Because that's what kind of happened.
Right. So.
Hey, that happened when I had my daughter. Now, I don't know who I was paying. B, who was I paying? I don't know who I was paying, but I was working. What is that? That's a problem. We need boundaries.
Yeah. But I don't even think that was, that's the only thing I picked up my phone for. Like, I was off.
Yeah.
It was like that. And like, some people were actually upset. I'm like, I just had a whole baby.
Had a whole baby. Like, so, I know we make it look easy.
Yeah.
That's a whole.
Yeah. But, it's the process of like finding a team and understanding that this is your passion. And does anybody appreciate it as much as you do?
Right.
Which that will always be the answer of no. So.
I'm putting a pin there because you're going to take me down a rabbit hole and I'm not going to go. Who were your role models or biggest influences when you were growing up? Do you remember?
Josephine.
Uh-huh.
Josephine, which my nonprofit is named after.
Tell us about Miss Josephine.
She was a feisty woman. She used to lie to us grandchildren. She used to tell us stuff. We used to believe everything. Anything she said was like gold. So you wanted to believe everything. And I felt like she would lie to us just to see what we were going to do. And then have the biggest thing. I was like, it sounds bad. But she looked out. She was very passionate. I love seeing my grandparents in general together. They were big steppers. So we would go party. She loved to dance. And it's just so nice to see like the bliss that they had. But she was just a very determined woman. But yeah, I like the story she told and the jokes she had. It was like always a fun time. So it was always be like, even wear the hat. She was a hat lady. So it's like, it's always a little piece of her. I see her in my daughter. So it's like a good thing. But at the same time, I was like, ooh, yeah, like raising a Josephine. I don't know what that looks like. So.
Oh, you gonna get it. My mom laughs every time I tell her something. She was like, mm-hmm.
She was waiting for you to get that experience. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I think my grandmother's coming up, so this should be fun.
So yeah, that, and then my sister was my other.
Oh wow!
So it was always, she's the sweetest person. She always looked out. We never had one of those relationships. What I'm very thankful for, that it was like, well, me and my sister fought. Like we used to wrestle stuff for fun because my dad, to me, raises us as tomboys. But she's always been so sweet, so nice. Even to the point at one point, I remember she being upset because I told her to shut up. And I was like, but it's just the word shut up. Like, what's wrong with feelings? But yeah, my sister is definitely my everything. So
that's amazing.
Yeah.
That is so amazing. Okay. Because it's interesting when people answer this question, so many different, it could be a neighbor, it could be a family friend, it could be a family member, but I've never heard an equal, like a sibling. I mean, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
That's really cool. What was your first job or hustle?
First job, I just turned 14. I worked at an amusement park.
Oh. Mm-hmm. That was fun.
It was, because we got to ride the rides before everybody got.
Oh, you like to ride rides? Okay, so that would be fun.
Yeah, especially like if I got to be at the big roller coaster, it was always cool because the maintenance man always looked out, because where we were, it was a decent amount of blacks that worked, and then it was whites, but like the main maintenance men were these black men, and so like they kind of took us under their wing, and so they was like, do you have food? Do you have water? So anytime we was at this certain ride, just like we was golden. We didn't really work. We just was kind of.
It don't sound like work.
So it was good for 14.
That was great for 14.
And what better? You get an amusement park free. You can go to the water park for free. So, it was good summers.
That's really cool. I did like real work. Starting to think back. It was kind of boring. When did you decide to start your own business, and why?
Well, I always knew that was where I was supposed to go because God had already given that to me. Mm-hmm. When was the thing I didn't know. Where I was working before, I loved there. Everything was actually good. Some changes had to be made because some stuff had came up just in general, their business side.
That's what happens.
Right. It shifts and changed. But because I had expanded into Texas and I was the only therapist there that had a full caseload in another state, it would have disrupted. And I kind of would have been losing money in the end. Mm-hmm. And so even before I found that out, like God had literally, I remember talking to one of the other therapists there who's actually my clinical supervisor. And I was just like, man, I'm so sad. I was like, because it's time for me to go. And she was just like, well, I was like, some stuff was going on family-wise. And I was just like, it's just time. And I was just like, I'm not ready. And I was like, but she was like, well, I was like, well, keep praying about it and see if God, like, she was like, God, give me a definitive thing of like, this is the time. And then I found out the new contracts and how it was going to be disrupting because of my Texas caseload. Not their fault at all, because they still do everything for me now. But I was just like, dang, you can't get no more clear than that. I was just like, okay.
So would that be crystal clear, or would that be?
Right. Like it was nothing. I was like, oh, you weren't playing. And it was crazy because I had that conversation that morning. I didn't find out this contract till that night. So I didn't even know. I had no clue anything. So quick. I was just like, okay, God. He had already been telling me, but I was like, yeah, all right. Next year we're going to plan this out. And so I was like, okay. And then, I talked to them And the business manager there, like she helped me find my space. She went on me to go on interviews at spaces to see. She was asking, I'm like, I'm so glad you're here because I didn't even think to ask that question. I would have just signed a lease and not known. So she helped out a lot with there. But like, I mean, to me, I feel like I'm an extension of that practice.
Absolutely.
Because like we still are connected with a lot of things. They raised and showed me a lot. I'm, very grateful because like billing, accountant, like all the questions I have, I still will go to them. So now they're just like my mentor practice. But then I thought it was just gonna be me when I left. And I just knew I had my assistant that I hired. And I knew when she got done for internship, she was going to start and she would be the person to slowly come on. Then I had 2 other people come too. And I was like, ooh.
Yeah, because when we were, because I was here for the transition.
Right.
You had all these, it'll just be,
Yeah.
us. And then I look up, she got like a whole staff.
I was like, where these people come from?
whole staff.
And then like it was a transition with some of them in the beginning. And then I had another person, both the 2 people that, have been with me the longest, I've seen them through their whole master's program.
Wow.
And so it was different seasons because one of my therapists that's there, she was just like, I remember when we sat down and you told me about this is what you want to do. I was like, I'm glad you remember because I don't remember telling you any of it.
It did kind of happen. Did it happen fast to you?
It did.
And not in a bad way. It just...
way faster than what I would have thought.
Yeah.
I mean, but when I think back, that was a decent amount of years. Like I got my clinical, so it was at least 3, maybe 3, 4 years that I had been working with them. So I mean, it was that time, because I do feel like I learned this from a CEO before. He was just saying like, by year 2, you've gotten used to the place. By year 3, you need to know where you're trying to do. You trying to move up or you moving out.
Right.
And by 4, you're in that. So when you hit year 5, you already are stepping into this new position, or that's about to come. Or year 5, you're moving on. Yeah. And so, like, if you think about the time frame, I was in that time frame of like either I'm going this route or this route. So we know what year 4 needs to be looking like. And so, and now,
it's been that long.
Now it's 7 therapists, so including myself. And 2 of them are interns, but like we're growing, moved into a bigger space. Yeah. This space feels like my actual group practice. The first space, it was for me because it was supposed to just be me.
Well, no, it was busting at the seams.
Right, because I'm like, where y'all keep coming from? Totally blessed though, but being able to service, see the babies being serviced to the adults, the families, the couples. So to be able to do it, and then now just, any male therapists out there that want to come and work, I'm looking for some
need them,
male
okay?
therapists.
For people that I'm trying to refer. I refer people to this practice all the time.
Yeah. So
that's really cool. Was there a moment when you almost gave up? If so, what kept you going?
Moments when I've almost gave up? Yes.
Okay. I was like, no, I said
that sounds more accurate. Sometimes it's just hard in general. Once again, like even though I have people that I absolutely adore and love working for me, the reality is I'm still their boss. Mm-hmm. And so it's certain things I can't just be like, yo, let's talk about this. All this happened, this,
it's lonely.
Yeah. It's like it's a different lonely. Like I now see people, but it's a different lonely. And then sometimes it's like everybody else has their own priorities that they have to do. And like the friend in me is like, yes, do that. But the boss in me is like, oh my gosh, like this is another thing that's happening. So it's like being that split down the middle. Mm-hmm. I don't think everybody understands. And then sometimes I just get tired. I was like, I just just don't want to deal with it. Mm-hmm. But it's like but I also can't see myself like back working for another practice.
Exactly.
Like, if anything, it would just be me. Like, it would just go down to just being me. But, I've already known that he's called me in a new thing, which is being more of that advocate, using the voice, being the teacher. So, like working on finishing school right now. So,
we're almost done.
Yeah.
I don't know why I feel like your accomplishments are ours. Because I'm not taking one class. But I'm just so excited. I'm proud, just to be there from the beginning of this part of your journey, of being in this state I get a front row seat. It's really cool.
I'm glad. So, when people ask them, go see Lindsey, ask her. So people just be like, no, it's been a process.
I'm like, no, you don't want them to come ask me the truth because I still talk about you today in therapy. Ask my therapist. So we both know that entrepreneurship can be overwhelming.
Right.
How has mental health played a role in your journey? Obviously, your own mental health.
It's connected in everything. Like, I know when I'm not regulated, right? Because it's just how it shows up and when I'm overwhelmed, or just my own past things where it's like, I know this is a trigger.
Right.
So my trigger of like imposter syndrome, not being good enough, or rejection.
Ooh.
So those things, they come up, and they come up even bigger being the boss and being the owner, because when people do certain things, it's like, I feel it. And I'm open enough to say, yes, I feel this, but that is my feeling, not yours to take on. This is what it actually is. I can operate differently from it. It's not like it triggers me, overwhelms me, and here I go making emotional decisions. It's like, not going to respond right now, and I'm going to go do A, B, and C.
I'll be back to that. Yeah.
But no, it's definitely like, I still go to see my counselor. It has to be part of the journey. I don't think as a mental health clinician, I tell people, like, if you're looking for a therapist, one question that I don't think is too personal, ask your therapist if they go to therapy. Because how can they hold your weight and all these other people's weight, and then they not checking in?
That's true.
And it's not saying they got to go like, I'm going weekly, because they might be at a very regular and have all their boundaries, stuff like, but I need to know that you do something. You know, not only do I go to therapy, it's like with all my therapist friends, we have consultation groups where we're just, especially as group practice owners, like we have a whole group that we go and we just be like, okay, can I give the real story first? And then I'm gonna come back to like being the boss again. But I need to tell you how all my feels is this.
Yes.
And then, okay, now we can switch to this side.
Yes.
So it's like with anything, it's all about community.
It is.
Healing is done in community. You got to have the right people around you. You got to have the wise counsel around you, so the people you can go to for different things. So mental health is always going to be a big part of it. Like, if I ain't regulated, then y'all ain't going to see a good therapist, good practice owner, just like, everything going to go crazy.
Yes. Yeah.
So
I don't know how y'all do what you do, but we are grateful that you do it. What's one challenge you faced that taught you the most about yourself?
I guess it'll be the whole entrepreneurship journey. It's teaching me a lot, even when I don't want to learn.
Yeah. Don't it though? And you're ever learning.
Right. And the big thing of just like redefining what failure is. I mean, I fail a lot.
Yeah.
I mean, but I think a true fail is when I don't decide to get back up and keep moving.
Right.
It's like, ooh, probably shouldn't have did that choice. I'm sitting in the consequences of my choices. Okay, let me do this. And I'm feeling it, because sometimes you need to feel it to make sure you don't go back to that one.
Just to make sure it sticks.
Yeah. But it's like, sometimes it's a journey. It's a lesson, like, like the book Life Be Lifing. It don't stop just because you do something. So even if I make a mistake, like if I'm sitting in it, am I going to sit here or am I going to go for it? Because either way it go, life going to keep moving. So you got one or two ways to go through this. It's not always easy, but once again, that's where your friends, going to therapy, having your counterparts, your accountability, it definitely takes place.
You have to have a support.
Right.
And it comes in different forms.
Right.
How do you take care of yourself now while running your business?
It's been very different. I've been trying to find new ways, because also with having a baby. So that really, I finally feel like I got it, and then I had a child. So one thing I do, that's the reason why I hired my last assistant to take some more stuff off my plate.
Yeah.
I rode in 2 triathlons, relay. I was in the relay. I just rode the bike. I did not run or get in the water. I've done 2 of those, which was good. So bike riding has been good.
It hurts my crotch. The seat.
But you got to get the right seat and everything.
Yeah,
like,
I don't invest that much.
It was just like, it was just the breeze and the wind and the music. It was just nice. Yes. I have a gym membership. Eventually, I am going to get on track with it. It's just scheduled with having a baby and she not letting me sleep. So just saying no and shutting down, and just it's a couple other things I'm putting more in place. But no has been the biggest in this season, because it's like, this is my capability, and this is what I'm gonna stick to. That and going to physical therapy has been huge, because after having a cesarean and everything like that, I'm like, health-wise, I got to take care of myself. Yeah. So being intentional on that.
That's good. It's interesting. I'm learning about the levels of self-care, and they're not what we think they are.
Right.
That's cute. Why is it positive No, didn't read that right. Why is positive representation of Black women in business important to you if it is? I feel like it is.
It is. It is. Because the world is diverse. And if for a young child, if all you see is somebody that don't look like you, the reality is it says it's this internal thing that's saying like, well, actually, can I do that? Or like, I shouldn't even be thinking about this, because I don't see nobody that look like me up there. So that must mean I can't do it. And those are just those silent messages like that get sent. So it's like if you see other women doing it, or even sometimes maybe necessarily don't see women, but you see somebody that look like you, like it's a man, that helps. But seeing women actually do it says that I can do it. I can picture myself here. Because I think you can do anything.
Do who you can.
So, I mean, you need to see it though. Like that was one of the biggest things I looked for as a counselor was trying to find a Black therapist owner that I could serve under.
Wow.
So, because I wanted to know what is it? What does that look like? How do you navigate? Because mental health for minorities versus whites is different. The white community, therapy is something that's been around, and it's been something that's been good, and it has been something that's been used to target a community, particularly Blacks. And it's so far different than what that used to be. But it's still a weight that's still carried in our community. Mm-hmm. So it's like, well, we need to see it and have representation.
Yes.
Just for people to come to the door that's really, really scared. Because you do have people who be like, well, I've been to therapy. I was like, you've seen that style of therapy with that person. It's over 7 different modalities of therapy. It's all these, so it's way more than that. But if you could see somebody, and I'm seeing more Black women in therapy or doing psychiatric care or just all the fields that I love, it makes me be like, you know what, that's actually possible. Like Venus and Serena. Look how many Black tennis players we got now, women tennis players we got now. Like me and my sister played tennis. That's what I played in college. Like, but it made it seem like it was achievable because somebody else was there.
Because you could see yourself, literally.
Right.
Mm-hmm. It's one of the reasons why I started the podcast, because I felt like a lot of times we're only portrayed as angry, confrontational, like we just have to be in control, and we can't play nice,
right?
And then on the other side is you got to be naked, you got to sell yourself in order to be successful. And I wanted our little brown girls to see that there are successful Black female business owners,
right? They keep their clothes on too,
and we do,
right?
But I didn't want it to be all smoky mirrors. So you see Beyonce and you think, oh, she's just this, this entertainer. She's like, she goes through nothing.
Right.
And, to talk about somebody's journey to get from childhood to where they are, that's the part that is always missing.
Right.
And then we have these unrealistic expectations for ourselves to get there.
Right.
Not knowing that there's an actual journey.
Right. And it's all glamorous and we make a lot of money and we do this. Like, no, that's not what happens.
That's literally not what happens. So what is one myth or stereotype about Black women in business you'd like to see erased?
Black women can't work together.
Oh. Yeah. And I work with a lot of Black women. Yeah. And we work very well together.
Mm-hmm. Well, everybody.
But that is not everybody's story.
Nope. And out of 9 people, 7 are all Black on my team. Other 2 are Hispanic.
And work just fine.
Mm-hmm. Get along, do bonding things together. Also, is the atmosphere. I don't set it as an atmosphere of competition.
Right. Collaboration.
Right.
Support community.
Right, because I say we're like a star, right? The hub, the fattest part of the star, the center is like, this is the hub. This is where we connect and where we got to align. Like, you got to be a part of that first.
Yeah.
But then the star also has its points. Like, we're not afraid to see you shine. Like, you got people that, like, they, especially as couples, have that. This especially over here, like, everybody has their thing that they just do a little different. Like, but the ground and the foundational piece, we all align.
We all have that.
Right. And then also, like yesterday, I met with 2 other group practice owners, 2 other Black female group practice owners. And part of the thing was like, hey, what do you need help? What are you finding? What are you struggling with? How do we send? Like, because also it's like I'm not in competition with another therapist practice.
No.
Because you can't do what I do.
No.
My client gonna be my client. Yeah. It's never a problem. Like, like, okay, this person, she has a full wellness spa, which we have to go to one day. She has a whole salt cave.
Ooh.
Really nice. So, and so we have that, and then another person, she actually takes Medicaid and Medicare insurance. Like, I service them with my interns. She actually takes some of them. So it's like, okay, cool. I had somebody to call. I sent them straight to her.
Send them straight over, yeah.
Right. I'm like, so why are we? But business, because I came from corporate, so I get corporate life. Everything is a competition. We're not in corporate life, and you can't. I get people like, well, those are my clients. Actually, they're not. It's technically opposite around. Like, you're their therapist. Those aren't you don't own a person. So
another story. You said something that made me think about So this has been happening lately. My brain wants to remember that thing. It just doesn't catch up with the conversation. So
it'll come back.
That thing's happening. Before we get to our last little segment, tell us about Josephine's Way.
Okay. So Josephine's Way is my nonprofit. Once again, I named it after my grandmother. One of the things that I have been seeing is, or also I'm doing my research for school, is like bridging the gap between your Medicaid, Medicare, or just underinsured with the high clinical therapists. I don't even think I'm using the right words for that. Like more specialized therapists, because you have a lot of therapists that do take Medicaid and Medicare. However, like, what about the people that need like the specialists, like EMDR or somatic therapy, or just some of these other specialties? Mm-hmm. Like, not all that therapists, because insurance, unfortunately, they don't pay us as much as people think we get paid from insurance. We're not getting paid like doctors, and we jump through a lot of hoops for it. So Medicaid, Medicare is even more hoops sometimes we have to jump through. And so I want to be able to like bridge that gap where it's like everybody has access to care no matter what, and then actually to a good therapist.
Right.
So you get to pick your therapist. So right now we're just doing school programs. I have one program we've done at the ballet company, one program that we're doing currently at Christian Hill School. So we're running groups there. So we're doing that first, and then as we continue to get money in, so if people want to donate, feel free to donate.
And tell them how to donate, because
yes, you go to josephinesway.org and you can click on donations. You can do something for a year where it takes out every month, or you can just do a one-time donation. But all the funds go back to, like, we're in January going to start our voucher program. So then, like, if you wanted to see a therapist because you was like, oh, they do this style of therapy, the goal is to be able to get you 15 sessions.
That's amazing.
If you get 15 sessions, that's pretty much a year of therapy. And most therapists will take them if we're paying like $125 to $150 to the therapist. They're going to take it because that's more than a lot of insurance.
And then what they're getting, yeah.
Right? And so that's one reason why we're still in a, collecting funding phase, like, which it hasn't been a full year yet. So the programs that we have done so far has been good, because we did a program at the beginning of the year when we first launched. So it's been good. So that's the biggest component now. It's like getting more funding so we can do the vouchers. So it's like, hey, this is our referral list. They'll take the vouchers from us. Basically they will just invoice us. We'll send them to
just pay them.
Right, and that's how it goes. But ultimately, I want everybody not to have a reason why they can't get care. It's levels to it. Like, some people, when we get to the higher levels, like some people that need to go to the hospital that, once again, cannot afford it, but they need outpatient or they need inpatient. At least can we pay for part of it?
Yeah.
Something
will help.
Because the reality is, if your mental health is good, you can work better, you can show up better for your family, friends.
You can do anything.
Right. We'll have less people, less suicide rates, less homicidal rates, like all those things. It's like people are dealing with mental health. It intersects ways into everything. Mm-hmm. So if we can get access to care, then it can help.
I love that. Yes, I got some ideas, so I'm waiting on the camera to stop because I'm like, ooh, I got an idea. What advice would you give to a woman who's just starting her business?
Be patient with yourself.
That part.
Yeah. And know in your first 3 years, everything you think you know at the beginning,
you know nothing.
You ain't gonna, absolutely nothing.
You know nothing.
I wish I could get someone else like, if you do this and you do this and it'll be all right. I mean, besides like, making sure that you stay regulated and have a team of people that support you. And that doesn't mean they have to work for you, but just those people that support you and you can vent to. It's like really being patient with yourself and know that everything is going to be something different. Like you going to learn because time is still changing. New things are coming. And so you open it up with this piece. But then they take all this over here. Like, they know, my therapist know. I'm like, oh, y'all, we were supposed to have this down. Like, so we're going to do this training. What day works for y'all? Because I didn't know I had to have it.
Yeah.
I was like, nobody told me this. So it's like constant learning.
Changing too.
Right.
So
right.
Good luck.
It is. Yeah. So it's like the thing is, but if you're patient with yourself, when things happen, it's like just accordingly.
Go with the flow.
Let discomfort become your best friend.
Get comfortable being uncomfortable.
Yes. You remember.
Yes, I had good therapists. What's one thing you wish you knew before you began your journey?
It probably will be about more financial outlets and opportunities for just things of how, like, just being a new business owner, because it is really a lot of things out there, and you hear people say that, but where do you find out where it is? And so, like, of course, like year 3, I find out a lot of them. I'm like, I could have used this way back here.
Of course.
But yeah, just that would have been more helpful of just knowing where more resources were.
I would like to add, I have found in times of lack, I've learned some extremely valuable lessons that I would have never gotten.
That's true.
Had I had access to the resources that I
That's
thought.
true. Yeah. They help you put things in place. It'd be like, well, if I don't do that, it might not be good. But like I said, that's the failure piece. Like, and I don't even try to say failure as much as like that's the lessons piece.
That's
like
the lessons piece.
Which puts you in place. And it's like you're gonna learn it. Do you want to learn it again? Like if you learned it the first time, you good.
Just learn it.
So
save yourself.
Yeah.
How can people connect with you, follow your work, or support your business? So we know about josephinesway.org.
Yes,
right.
josephineways.org.
And then what about?
And it's on Instagram as well. So Josephine's_way.
Okay.
So you can find Instagram and it's a Facebook page as well. So same thing for the Facebook page.
Okay.
Josephine's Way. And so you can find out a lot about Josephine Way and how to donate for the Heart of Counseling and Wellness. We're located in Orland Park, 15020 South Ravinia, Suite 27. I just always tell people in between the fire department and the police department, right across the street from the library. So you have those pieces. And then you can go to our website, theheartofcounselingandwellness.com. Anything you need, pretty much you can find on there. You can email the office. We're happy to answer any questions and use us as a resource. Your therapist might not be with us, but it might be like we help you find your therapist. We are that practice. Like we're not trying to just be like everybody's ours. It was like we would rather you get help, and because of that, typically you will refer back to us because we helped you in general.
Absolutely.
So,
if little brown girls are listening right now, what's one thing you want them to know?
Be bold in who you are. Love yourself and be okay with being different. Because I think everybody has their own uniqueness. Mm-hmm. And so the more we embrace it and can step in the boldness of it, we start to realize like the race we were supposed to run, and life would become so much funner.
I think that our world would be a different place if we embraced all of the differences.
Right. Instead of conforming to be like, the world says you should do this. Like, challenge that. Yeah. Really challenge that. Because usually a lot of the children you see that are different and like advanced before their time. So when they're younger, a lot of times they're the one that get picked on.
Yeah.
But once, because they've developed so much more, something else about them. But then once they get into that age and frame and they step into that boldness, if they step into it, it's like, you can't tell me nothing. Because it's finally connected. Like the age and what it is finally meet. And it's like, yeah, it's a beautiful process. So if we could just understand it at a younger age and embrace that, it'll be so much easier when we get older.
That's good. I'm so excited you came to. I love her, y'all. Y'all don't even understand. Thank you so much for gracing me with your presence today. I wish you nothing but success on top of success, on top of success. Just not too successful that I can't get a therapist when I call. Just saying. No. But I absolutely love your practice and, you know, the nonprofit and everything that you've just accomplished. And I'm excited that in a year from now, we'll be like, wow, look how far we've come even then. So I know it's going to be some huge things happening. And I'm just glad to have a front row seat. So thank y'all so much for tuning in today to I Swear I'm an Introvert. I'm Lindsey Evans. Have an amazing, amazing day and week. And if I could just leave you with one thing, you got this. It's all good. Take the pressure off. Do it the way that you know how to do it. Everything else will fall into place. Talk to y'all later.